Hey everybody, this is Matthew with Forging Your Legend, where we help people turn their toughest battles into their greatest legends. Today I want to talk to you about acceptance and how it applies in the healing journey, where it doesn't work out very well, and where I differ from some of the conventional wisdom on it. So first off, one thing to get out of the way is that yes, you have to accept some things in this journey. However, there's probably less that you have to practice acceptance with than you think. Or it's kind of a two-sided thing where there's acceptance and there's also the will to change within the same thing. So before I get into that, I'll say that I usually see two sides in this. There's usually the side where people are very much into surrender, letting go as a spiritual practice, as a religious practice, or just as a thing they see as a healthy psychological approach to life and healing. They see, the idea that they should just let the timeline be what it's going to be. They should completely put it in God's hands. And then there's the side where people are extremely focused on doing whatever they can do all the time, and they believe it's all in their hands, it's 100% all in their control, and they just have to keep showing up for it. Both sides have some wisdom and both sides have some limitations. For example, one thing that you have to practice acceptance with, surrender with, is you can't change the past. The past happened, it is what it is. However, there's also the side where you get to tell yourself whatever story you want to about it. You get to decide what you do with it from here. And so there's the acceptance and there's the empowerment in the same situation. Another example is other people. There's a certain amount of influence you can have, but ultimately people are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to think what they're going to think, say what they're going to say. And so you have to accept that you can't control other people, but on the other hand, you can control how you respond to them, and you can control the quality of your side of the communication with them, just for example. Another example is you can't change the fact that you are where you are right now. In this exact moment, you are dealing with illness or dysregulation or some other stuck pattern, and that is what it is. However, that doesn't have to be the same thing in the next moment or next month or next year. And what you tell yourself about it may be a mix of acceptance and empowerment as well. Accepting, for example, that you have a certain set of symptoms or a certain set of circumstances right now may be a very wise thing to do. However, accepting a story about it that doesn't have any empowerment in it, like this is chronic and will never go away. You don't know that with absolute certainty in 99.99999% of cases. There's always room for that miracle. So don't accept a story that doesn't help you. Accept only the parts that you have to accept, only the bare minimum that is required for you to stop resisting what's in front of you and put your energy where it can actually make a difference. This is where the serenity prayer can be helpful. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The fact is that on this journey, very often people think that there's less that they have influence over than they actually do. This is where I have a disagreement with a lot of people in the healing community. A lot of people take that first side of surrender, letting go, giving it to God, giving it to the universe, giving it to life, whatever, and they take a healthy thing and turn it into an extreme where it becomes passivity, where it becomes surrendering your own agency and surrendering your own power. And I see that coming from a place of spiritual bypassing or emotional bypassing, where they've dealt with so much adversity and so much trauma that at a certain point they enter a state of learned helplessness, which they then dress up with spiritual terms like surrender and letting go. And they surrender their agency. They bypass their real emotions, like especially anger. They end up in a state where they think they're doing the right thing, but really it's just passivity dressed up in fancy clothes. Now, on the other side of that, you've got people, like I said, who are very much in the mindset of, I can do this. I will find the way. It's up to me. And they can take it to an extreme as well, where they refuse to accept that there's anything that they cannot control. And they fall into a different kind of trap where, because they refuse to accept some basic things like, hey, I'm dealing with this right now, so I should do certain things to move past them, they end up just butting their head into a wall and not getting anywhere for a different reason. The truth is, it's, as often is the case, a middle path. You need to accept certain things, but know that there's far more that you have power over than you think. But I want to stress that you should never accept anything that doesn't feel like it's coming from love, that's not coming from the highest truth. I'm not saying there's never going to be a situation where somebody can't overcome a situation, and sometimes there's just difficult, fearful, awful things that happen in life. And you don't want to go to the point where you're deluding yourself about that. Everybody's going to have a different line with their circumstances, but I'm always of the belief that you should err on the side of believing something is possible, even if it seems impossible, within reason. Because chances are you have more influence than you think. Chances are there's more to this situation than you're aware of, and that there's far more opportunity than you even know for you to overcome this. So in summary, accept the things that you need to. Accept where you truly don't have any influence. But know that due to what you've been through, there's probably actually more that you can do than you think. And if you can't influence something right now, you can work over time to gain influence over it. And having acceptance for something doesn't have to mean passivity. It can mean that you're doing it strategically and in an empowered way that allows you to actually do more with what you have more control over. And in the end, go for what you want. Go for what you believe is meant for your life, even if you don't believe it's possible, because healing is possible for you. You just got to keep on the path. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you found this useful, hit like, comment, follow, share, subscribe, and you can find more at forgingyourlegend.com. Thanks so much, and make it an amazing day.